I'm Elaine. I am part of Tekad Kolektif. We are a collective that focuses on the liminal spaces. This exhibition is about individuals thriving in the margins. They were a result of talking with my co-founder in Tekad Kolektif, Masuri Mazlan.
I play the role of one of the exhibiting artists as well as the assistant curator for With You Here between Defamiliarization.
Photography is the most representational medium out there. A lot of times when people look at photography, they see a whole image and they don't see perhaps the artifice or the production behind it. We wanted to use that medium and play with it a little by introducing sculptural elements that elude the image a little bit.
As a sculptor, one of my prime medium is actually objects. For this exhibition, I layer objects on top of the printed image. In its textural quality, I wanted to capture a very organic feeling to it that bear resemblance of the body.
Dylan's work, I've seen the development of his work. With his images that's focused on memory, he kind of employs this technique of splicing and cutting the image.
So I'm currently looking at three very prominent objects which we are very familiar with within our domestic spaces. That being the parquet wood flooring, blinds, as well as towel rods. And so I juxtapose these objects with various images in its configuration to try to complicate its reading and to deepen the understanding between these spaces and objects.
When Elaine shared with me that she's looking at the idea of the liminal space and also the idea of defamiliarization, to me immediately the answer was to share this artwork as sort of a shrine, because a shrine or an altar is pretty much a personal space. So when you welcome someone into it, they experience it from their lens, but they also get to see a little bit of your personal space as well. So I thought this idea of spirituality, which is often a very grey area where people can interpret it in different ways, this work invites them to take a look at the history surrounding the Singapore River, but also in a very personal sense of how a shrine actually works.
With Vimal's work, he's the most literal representation of the idea of belonging, even when it doesn't quite fit. And grounded behind Vimal's work is Fitri's work, which is almost like a song for her home.
So Orang Laut is a project that I did back in 2017. It's basically a documentation of the island that my maternal family resides in. The reason why I wanted to document the place was because I wanted to have a visual representation of the island that my family may not be living in within the next few years. I wanted to tie the visuals together with the video work of Aka. So Aka was produced as a response to COVID-19, a visual storytelling of a yearning of wanting to go back home. Every single year, I would actually go back to Indonesia to celebrate Hari Raya and also to visit my family. But because of COVID-19, I wasn't able to do that. And unfortunately, I've also lost quite a lot of people within the short 2 years. So it talks about wanting to go back home but not being able to.
This exhibition contains a lot of programs, from workshops to poetry readings. I wanted people to have multiple entry points to the exhibition, and I wanted the tactility to make individuals feel like they're part of the artwork. And I felt with workshops and I felt with bringing in different media, for instance, poetry, it kind of offers people from all sorts of communities and backgrounds an entry point into this exhibition. This is the first exhibition where honestly I found my curatorial voice. With this open call, I took this opportunity to allow myself to be mentored by people who are more experienced than I am. And my experience thus far has shown me that the principles and ethics that you bring into your curatorial premise should also function at every level of your programming. And that's what I've taken with me as my major takeaway from this Curator Open Call.